So we have to move on to another really important topic. It's somewhat of another lamentation. Hopefully we should get some responses from government. So there was a report that said that $1.88 billion, $1.88 billion is required for census. Says that according to reports, the need for the conduct for the 2023 population and housing census. I took that story, I think, sometime last week. However, the Minister of State for Budget and National Planning said the federal government has provided 46% of the budget, but there still remains about 327.2 billion naira needed to carry out the census. So the entire figure is about 869 billion naira, and of which I think about 47% has been paid already. Now, Nigerians obviously have lamented these figures because when we hear billion, we're thinking, hey, we can't even process that this money might be put to good work.
Yeah.
But all we can think is, why do we need so much for census? That's a conversation. What are your thoughts on this? As again, is another opportunity to express our views when we hear budgets for certain projects in Nigeria. Let's call on the numbers on our screen again: 081-270-53687. 091-390-7694. You can also tweet to us at TVC. Can I please hashtag your view TVC so we can read your tweets?
So they went further to explain. They said, when you hear the numbers, they really look very huge. Censuses all over the world, the average is between $4 to $6 per person. However, in the United States, they spend $16 per person. In Botswana, they spend about $10 per person. So Nigeria's $6 per person, you agree with me, that is still very reasonable. And I had to quickly do the math. $6 per person, that's about, let's say, 4,005, going by the current exchange rate. And I'm asking myself, 4,005 a day to count me, right? Have you asked me, the average Nigerian, if I earn 4,500 naira a day? So you are using people who have a higher purchasing power to calculate. Can we do things in just find our own way and what works for us? Tell us exactly what that amount of money is for. Is it the data you are getting? Is it, I don't know. I'm not an expert with census, but if you break it down, we will now see, can we reduce this amount of money? Is it possible? So that we don't create loopholes where you just hear after how many months that money has been siphoned, that money was chopped. Usually, if you break it, Morayo, wait first. If you break it down, okay, because we need to do this and do that, and we'll now check, okay, in Nigeria now, is there any way we can get some of these things cheaper? Can you use 1,500 naira per person? Because the people you want to count with 4-5, they don't even earn 4-5 a day. Is it possible?
So let me see. I think in my own understanding, it will be logistics.
Logistics, absolutely.
Yeah. It will be materials. I don't know. When was the last census? It was so long ago. Yeah. Yes. Okay. And I know that people would come to you. So you fill their cars, you give them transportation fare. Probably their offices will be running, the cost of getting that data. But I think what's interesting about this story is that they're asking Nigerians, right, to make contribution to this. Yeah. So I'm asking, is it that you want us to come and pay, or is this like a taxable thing? Are you now going to tax Nigerians and say, going forward in the year 2023, 2024, we're going to take out some monies as tax towards the, yes. And it will be it's very important and necessary to give us a breakdown of how this money is spent. $6, what does that mean, you know? And that is just for accountability's sake. I think a lot of Nigerians, we already know there's a lack of trust for government. And for me, I feel it's just because of lack of information. If you're able to just explain, people do better when they know better. If you're able to explain to Nigerians, this is where the money is going to. For me, even when I saw the large amount, the total sum, I didn't think it was too much. I mean, this is a huge country. The logistics will be definitely massive. But will we break it down so that the layman understands, break it down per state, break it down per local government area, break it down per community or wards, things like that. Then people understand what it is that they are going to be investing in, because you're asking us, you know, to invest in this. Then why do we need a census? Do we understand why it's important? Census is important so that we know exactly how many people we are, how many men and how many women, so that those men will stop saying there are more men than women, so manage any man you get. That's what but also economically, the sort of economic decisions and policies that our country would make, would take going forward. The percentage of those living in poverty, where we live, how we're living, all those things are very important for census. So it's not just a gather money together and then it's siphoned by a few people. So
two messages before talk, please. September production said, what is the counting for? Do they want to share cake? Fiona says they should use 500 naira each to count us in Nigeria. This 1.5 is even big.
So part of me, another thing that is important to note here with census, because the last census was 17 years ago, 2006. And it's important, it's been a long time, because every day you keep hearing figures in Lagos. Oh, it's 30 million. Oh, it's 24. It was just, in our own minds, astronomically just growing. Now they're saying 23 million. So the figures keep changing across the country. They can't tell you categorically how many people. And we need, just like you said, resource control. We need economic, be able to know how to share our resources and all that. That is important. But the truth is, as you said, Nigerians just need information.
Yes.
Break it
Well,
up.
I believe also that before the figure got to this point, somebody has already done some trimming.
Yeah.
Before we got to a figure where we can now see $1.something billion. Somebody probably started from $20, and maybe the person in charge, because the figure we're seeing now is probably already trimmed. If it's trimmed,
politically correct figure right now.
Is it padded?
So for me, I think that, yes, we agree, we need census. It's important to have data. We don't have data. But Nigeria has tried to collect data in many forms, and we spent monies, a whole lot of money, collecting data. We went through BVA, we went through NIN. We all have our birth certificates. There are many ways we've collected a bit of data officially. And yes, there are a group of people that are not captured in any form, so it's important. But in order of priority, when you think about all the things that are important to us as a nation, I would say that would we be spending this money, could we have spent this money on other more important things than now? That's on one end. And Nigerians don't believe in the system. This is something that if you want to do census, you do it maybe in the beginning of your administration, not when you are leaving, because what you've done is whatever data you'll be giving, there will be mistrust in whoever will take it over that. I'm not sure the data, or rather, I'm the one that collated the data. So if President Buhari had come in immediately 2015 and he said, I'm doing census the moment I come in so that I can know the number of people that I'm going to be serving, I want to be able to serve these people, I want to understand what's going on, I will totally understand, and many people will understand. But when you're doing it as you are living, we're thinking, why are you spending so much money?
It's not for his own benefits for Nigeria, because the 2016 one, the 2006 one,
we have a trust problem.
But the 2006 one that was done, we're using it was done by a different administration, and we keep using that figure. So it's not for that administration.
But I remember clearly that even after that was done, Lagos State still did their own census because they did not trust the figure that the federal people declared was in Lagos State. The Lagos State government, and I think at that time it was still I think was it Fashola or
2006?
2006.
No, I think
Ashiwaju,
it's Fashola.
second term of Ashiwaju.
No, Fashola. 2005. It's Fashola.
Okay, so
Fashola.
I remember clearly that at that time the numbers that came from Lagos was not as much as they expected it to be, and they did their own census to confirm.
And
because we all feel that the census are always a way of manipulating figures in some areas of the country. Okay. So we have a conspiracy issue already. You don't compound it by doing it census just before you go out.
It's taking 17 years to be talking about compounding. I think that we know that there were issues then. Yeah. When we're ready to do it, we need to do it better. Everybody needs hands on deck. I mean,
not that you be contributing
all
money.
Hands on deck. INEC does it, you have their offices at different places, states, wards. So we need to put all that into consideration. All the mistakes that we made the first time around, we will not make them the second time around. The reason I'm pushing for this is that census is important for us. Right. I've seen, even politically, as this election season, we've heard people say, people keep saying that a particular region has more people. I don't believe it. After all, when you go to the market, it's these people you see. These are important information. Then you can use facts to back it up. Nigerians need to be sold the importance of having a census done first, and then we go ahead and do it.
Now, I have a question, because one of the issues we've raised in this our conversation right now is the issue of corruption, because we don't want them padding. Have they padded it? Is it the real actual figure? Could they have done it for cheaper? Could they have redirected this money for something better? But my question is, can we really curb corruption, or can we manage corruption? Or should corruption be managed? rather than curb.
I think the
in this exercise or as in general?
No, as in, because it brings out the conversation that if we are worried about the padding, there's a possibility that it's probably been padded. Should we focus our energy on why is it padded? Let us know let them give us a breakdown. How much are you spending on this? How much? Or let us have the budget. Either way, make sure that the census you do is indeed accurate. At the end of the day, I want a proper, accurate census. Should I focus on making sure that the figure that is being used or allocated for anything is the accurate figure? So am I curbing it or am I managing it?
It's your question again.
Can we do it simultaneously?
Yes, we can do both. What I realize is the average Nigerian likes to overspend because we have the first things first we need is to get the data of everybody, and we can start from the time you are born. There's a data for you.
As in?
The time you die, they clean you out of that data. All over the world, everybody has a data. You are in the system. If, for instance, a crime happens, they can punch in the system and fish you out. That's the first thing. If we really want to, see, these systems we're talking about, now we don't want to, because if they pay some people, maybe we don't get system. We can do things the right way. All of us here have BVN, right? We want to capture people in the informal sector. Can we focus on that? Can you tell the organizations, the banks, to provide their data? This is a form of census, to count your people.
For the official.
These people have been captured. The official people have been captured. Give us their data. Make sure you have their data. Collect it. Give us their data. Let's focus attention on the informal, the rural areas, the local people who have not been captured. Then we match the data. It's about thinking proactively and thinking for cost-effective ways of handling us as a country.
What did they say that it will give you an accurate?
No, hold on. You start from somewhere. You get those ones first. So now, you want to count everybody all over again. You finish counting, you will still tell us that we were not able to capture some people because the money was not enough. We are already captured. Find the data from corporations where exactly I have BV, I have NIN.
You don't need to count my children.
You don't need to count us again. We already have. Find those ones that don't have.
They don't have birth certificates.
See, I know that census is very important, but can we look in the scheme of things? What do we need mostly right now as a country? We need data, right?
Yeah.
Which data don't we have now as a country? The informal sector. Can we focus on that?
Full stop. You know the number of children in schools.
But there's no way that defines the informal sector.
We know the
Don't
number.
you have informal sector within, for example, so there's informal sector in every community.
Yes.
Even in Banana Island, there's informal sector.
Yes.
So how do I start denying, okay, this is informal sector people, this is normal people?
If you tell everybody
local government
that I should capture every informal person in my house, like now I know everybody in my house now, we have BVN, everybody, even my driver. No, but that's what census is supposed to do.
That's what census
is supposed to do it cheaper. I found a way to do it cheaper because I finished much money on it.
When did you become census advisors?
No, hold on.
Yeah, real estate.
I'm a real estate
person.
On this table. So be on your view.
So for me, my challenge, like I said, is about trust. We don't trust the system. That's why we're questioning the funds. We don't trust our leaders that they are going to spend the money right. We don't trust that the numbers will be accurate.
Government.
And we are worried.
So maybe we don't need a government in the Banana Republic.
No, that's not
No, I'm just asking. I want the conversation.
The real responsibility of a serious government is to win back the trust of the people.
So we should never drop the idea of census.
Our current system, our current president now is not trying to win back our trust. He does not send. He's going. So maybe when we have a new government, they will know how important
it is.
Because on a normal day, I shouldn't even have to question you if I trust you. Because I know you have my interest at heart, but right now, I don't trust you. And now I'm thinking, why are we spending so much money? If you want to prepare for the university system, simply count secondary school students, because if you know the number of secondary school students, you can know how many people will be going into the university, because you can't jump it. If you want to prepare for the number of primary schools we need, secondary school, simply count the number of primary schools students that we have, you know who will get into secondary school. We are saying there are many other
within the Nigeria, you move to Kano, you move to Kaduna, people are constantly moving.
Lamented because we knew we did BVN. Why did we need NIN? They don't have NIN now. We've registered. Some people paid money to register. Do you know how difficult that system is? My children registered. For you to make any correction on the NIN platform, you will pay a lot of money through remitter. We do all these systems and we make life difficult for ourselves with a system we created by ourselves.
census, they will not count everybody. We will still miss some people.
We'll still miss them. We'll miss them. We'll say they were on the boat.
I think we need to understand that this census is for our own good.
Yeah,
we do.
So if government administrations come and go, they're doing us a big disservice. And this is some of the things that we can call our rights so that we would know. I don't know how people think census is done, but it's supposed to get enough data so that these questions that people are asking, it will provide that. It will give you economic data, social data. You would know. I mean,
but I can't lie.
You were old enough now to know when they came to your house, they saw the number of people in your house and they
said some houses in the north, they could not enter.
And there were some questions. So that is why we're talking about doing it better. 17 years is more than enough time to learn to do it better. So now let's go to the fact that you mentioned how Lagos State did theirs, alongside with the federal government, and they had actually two different figures. And I'm thinking, okay, so if states can do it, why don't we have federal government representatives in different states that do it? So that you have someone who is doing like an accountability check. The states will do it, they'll bring out, they'll raise the funds that they know they can for that process within their state, and the federal government will be there to make sure that it's being done right. I mean, what would be why would you not want to know how monies should be spent?
Let me take this call.
How I want to develop. How would you not want to know that?
Good morning, Oluwaseun. You are live. Go ahead, please. Yes.
Good morning, ladies. Great job you are doing. Yes, we need the census now. We need the census, but we don't have to be too quick about
it.
Oluwaseun.
Still after the new government.
Oluwaseun. But you see, let me respond to Tokwe, because she kept talking about Lagos State did their own census. But the truth is, if you recall, at that time, it was a different government. Lagos State was in opposition. Obasanjo refused to give Lagos State the allocation, federal allocation. So Lagos State already was actually acting as if I am an independent state, that you're not feeding me. So now you did a census across the nation and don't trust your figures. So at that moment, as in 2006, I still don't trust you because I am an opposition and I must do my own census because I believe you didn't allow me to do my own. Remember, Lagos State was saying that we were more than 20 local governments. We need additional 27. So there was a lot of issues conflicting. Lagos wanted to get the real data, so that was what caused their own. But other states used the federal government data.
Okay, so going forward, let me take messages. We don't have that opposition stance. So I think it was beyond because they were just opposition. I think that there were some political issues that were going on between the federal government and the state government, because we do have, right now we have an APC government, and the president-elect is also APC. So we need to understand that it's not about being in opposition. And in case where there's distrust, you should have people who are able to stand in for accountability's sake.
Let me go on a quick break. When I come back, I'll take your comments. Stay with us. We'll be right back. So let me take a few more comments.
Yes, so we have messages from YouTube. Dame Ebika says, exactly, instead of wasting money, the BVN NIN data can help. Corey Michael says, we don't know how to do things efficiently. We have NIN database, your voter database. What else do you want? Say, thank you, BC, this is ridiculous. Inayo Barisi says, our leaders should replicate what they see abroad in Nigeria and not census. We have BVN and NIN, and that's enough to know our numbers. Oladidi says, with the data we have from NIN, bank details, INEC records, and passport details, a good statistician will calculate our population with a high level of confidence. Went ahead, BC is right. So I want to add to this to say, I think it's time where our leaders begin to engage young minds. So forget the fact that we have elected you, you are in positions of authority, you have your team that are working with you. I think you should start engaging an extra team of young people, young brains, innovation, that will just be somewhere thinking out, be innovative. That's how, what's this leader in Dubai does it. You see the people in his team, young, brilliant minds, geniuses in their different fields. They put them together. Okay, so where are we going to? This is our plan for the next 40 years. This is our plan for the, and they are, anytime you go to a place like Dubai, you see something new because there are young people that are thinking. No, hold on, don't pause me. Let me pause. Don't pause me, Morayo.
Let me pause you.
Don't pause me. Let me land this, please. So, since we are looking for more, except of course the government is not looking for more efficient ways to do things. They still want to do things the old way so that some things can drop for some people. if we're actually looking for more efficient ways to do things, okay, what's the best way that we can get our data? The data is very important. I agree with Miriam 100%. But is there any way we can do it? And I hear we're going to be using data, digital this time around. So what exactly are we spending on if it's
software.
going to be digital? We have to build another software. We cannot adopt the one we used to BVN and NIN and
ordinary.
Dear God.
First of all, you are not a scientist. You are not a. So we don't know the details. We are only speaking from our own. What I was going to pause you for is that I always hear this thing out. Let's get young people because we see them doing it other places. Those guys invested in their young people, though. Not everything. We do have some. We have some. But when we always assume that every young person is a whiz kid.
You reap what you sow.
You reap what you sow. Every young person in Nigeria is supposed to be, no, it doesn't like, what have we as a nation invested in these people to make them whiz kids? Not all of them. Some of them are, but they also...
Those ones can we find them and put them under our employ? Let them help us, we help them.
I just wanted us to correct that statement. And not assume that every young
don't
person
even assume that the ones that are the whiz kids, after all the sacrifices of maybe another country, they are willing to come and do this. Because our country wants to use them for free or for...
Why free? Don't they pay the
exactly.
So-called experts that don't know anything?
I like the way this conversation is going. If we pay the rest and the government is saying because we need to pay these biscuits, we put it at $8. Auntie, you will scatter this table. $8!
I will not.
That's it.
I'll come to remember the cowrie card in Lagos was designed by a young Nigerian. So these are some of the leadership that we see that are engaging young people. But it's not all young people that are doing that. I'll take a call and I'll come to you, Tokwe. Good morning, are you there?
I'm here.
Good morning.
You're live.
Good morning,
you can get the volume up. Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's kind of muffled, but go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So I was going to say something. I mean, census is going to be a little bit complicated in Nigeria.
I can't hear her. Go ahead, Tokwe.
Okay, so I was going to talk about the fact that I sit here as someone who doesn't trust that I know we need census, but I don't trust the system that wants to carry out this census, and I don't feel in order of priority this is what we should be spending so much money on. But I also wonder about the timing. Why must we have this census now? Why must it be done in April? Why must it be done before the handover when we already have a new administration coming in? Why can't we do it in November? Why can't we do it in June? Why can't we do it some other time this year?
I still don't know timing.
Yes, I feel like the timing is tight, especially since we don't even have enough funds. See, the person in charge already said that I don't have enough money to carry out this census. So obviously, if you don't have enough money and you are in the Ministry of Budget and Planning, you know that there's something wrong. So don't spend this money. He said April.
For me too, I have to say, I think April is a bit too soon. We are coming off the back of a Emefiele policy. I don't want anything. You know, right now I just want to chill and relax. For me, timing is an issue.
They told us
I would like for
year,
us to do this for 2024. That's what I would like.
Kind of
Same here. I agree with you.
Let me take this call from Toby. Good morning.
I still have PTSD from a Emefiele policy.
Hello, are you there?
Can you hear me now, Morayo?
Yes, we can. Yes.
Okay, yeah. So I was saying that I think one of the issues we're having is the fact that we can't trust anything that comes out of the government or that comes out from them. I think that's, why we're questioning this amount. But one thing I want us to take into consideration is the fact that there's so many things that are involved. We're going to be buying equipment. And remember that this is going to be digitalized, because we're going to be having a database. We're going to be, so equipment to be bought and all of that. I think one of the easiest things that would have happened is to get communities. Every local government has communities attached to them. It would have been easier to say, okay, let us have local governments do this census. But the question is, can we trust the data that will come out of the local government? Because we know that people like to inflate figures. Yes. And we know that, when it comes to fake allocation, when it comes to figures coming, when it comes to election, when it, all of that, every state would want to inflate their figures.
Yes.
And that is why we will need international observers or international participation. And I think that is why the figures are high, because if we're bringing people, for example, if we're bringing Google to come and do this, they will charge us, for accommodation, for logistics, and a lot of things. I think if we consider that, that is the reason why the figures are high.
Can I just...
Fantastic, Toby. Now, there's a point you made, I think BC made that earlier about do we trust the government? See, that's another was talk about I said earlier about trust, and I like us to discuss trust issue, because I am of the opinion that yes, we have a trust issue, but at some point we have to choose to trust to move forward. Because if we stay on this lane of I don't trust them, whatever they bring, I'm not even interested.
Once beaten, twice shy. I trusted Omefele's system. I did this show.
Yes, so we talked about
it over with my full chest.
We're happy with the policy.
I was like, this is a good policy. Reduce inflation. We have hyperinflation. We have too much liquidity. I was all over the system. I was trusting that system because I just felt like I'm a very optimistic person. Truthfully, I want things to work. This is my only country. I don't have another passport. So, but in the scope of things, when you see that over and over again they keep biting you, once beating, you don't have anything for them to bite again.
So that once beating, Mariam, should we continue to? Should we trust? I mean, we want a nation. So they'll keep hurting you, but you have to keep trusting.
It's okay to have a distrustful situation, but we have to move from this place. We will not say we don't trust you and so everything should collapse. Then we put in systems in place where we can do checks and balances. We need to be able to say, okay, government, you have agreed to do this. But for us to do this, I want you to put so and so in place. This is the only way I can hold you accountable. This is the only way I can check that you're doing what you're meant to check. And make sure that my judiciary is independent so that I know where to take you when you have done something wrong. I know where I can take you to for punishment or for the consequences of bad behavior. Once we're able to do that, see, I feel that now more than ever, Nigerians are so they're so aware of their rights. They're so aware of their power. We have used our voice to change the whole CBN policy to where we are today. In 10 days, it would have taken some people a whole new administration. I mean, a whole set of Nigerians, a whole new administration. We have a very vocal and very intelligent electorate right now. The young Nigerian is very confident and bold. And, as much as we don't know everything, we know some things and we can question. So this is the time to say, okay, we're putting this machinery, we're asking government to put this machinery in place. And we not only will we invest our money, we even invest ourselves. This election has showed us that structure does not really have to do about buildings. Even people, if they're interested, I'm interested in this census, and I'm interested in the integrity of this census, and I'm willing, myself and my community, to invest ourselves in making sure that we are observing
I like that
the
invest
process.
ourselves point. I want to come back to it, but I have to take Magdalene. Good morning, Magdalene. Are you there?
Yes.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
I'm from Jos.
Go ahead.
Yes. You people are talking about sound minds in Nigeria. Ladies of your view.
Ooh, please call her back. Magdalene, she was saying something. You talk about investing ourselves, and I think that is also important. Which connects back to what BC has been saying earlier. You can find other ways. You know how you can get young people to actually volunteer to support. People can actually, it's part of your national duty to help and support. So you don't have to worry about paying, maybe you're using civil servants, or you can actually get people to community, either local government, as you said, either various states, to see what they can do to support the government in this, to make things a bit easier, even then, instead of federal government spending all the money by themselves. This is something that...
So we have systems, though. Let's not get it mixed up. We have systems. We have the judiciary, which is supposed to be like for checks and balances. We have all of that in place. But how many do we obey? That's the question. It's still we, the people, that we want to circumvent the system. And so it's we, the people, that create the system and will not obey the system. We choose not to obey the system. So we need to be talking to leadership because the systems are in place.
Yes.
If you are called by the court, do you obey? Do you answer? When the people hold you accountable and say, this is what we noticed. This did not go down well. We are taking you to the court. Do you appear? When the National Assembly says, I'm going to call you, we want to ask you questions concerning what happened here and here and here. Do you appear? Some of us are gods here. Some of us are more equal than others here. So we need to talk to those people who see themselves as more equal than others. The systems are there. Are we ready to obey the system?
Let me take this call from Oluwaseun. Thank you, PC. Oluwaseun, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning again.
Morning.
Yeah, I called the other time. I have to call back. I don't understand this, our why we have to, come up with all these policies without even, giving Nigerians that information, without preparing us, for all of this, policy. Yeah, beautiful policies, census, beautiful. The money policy, beautiful. Beautiful, but it's a government, and government has to understand that they have to, prepare us. Like this census, the money, the truth of the matter is that, we can't, it's okay. It's okay if it is going to be digitized. And, if we have to, employ, international body to come running for us, of course, for plus the local, local system. Yes, we can even ask Google to do it for us. Yes, we can.
Thank you very much,
yes,
Google.
Yeah. So
can I
They
add
told
a little
us.
bit?
Yeah.
Let me
Because people don't have the right information. As at April last year, they told us up front that a year from now, we will be doing census. Yes. And they've mentioned that this is the budget.
they didn't put it on Twitter. Maybe that's why.
But
Because that's where Nigerians.
I understand that you're trying to be sarcastic. Okay.
Go ahead.
I understand, the sarcasm. I was going to say that sometimes we have to blame ourselves for the sort of information we think we consume, yes, and we engage with. Like I said earlier, I think this election, more than any time before, we have young people engaging because they felt a closeness to it. So on the one hand, it is that we're not consuming information that we need to for our own betterment and our development. But another thing is that also I think a government needs to understand that they are changing times. Times are changing, people are consuming information differently, and so they need to be more creative also in a way that they are passing messages. So is it on Twitter? Is it influencers? Well-meaning influencers, well-informed and knowledgeable influencers to help dissect and make, humanize and make policies relatable or plans of government relatable to their different communities. That way we'll have more people interested in conversations like this. And I've seen that Nigerians are really willing to participate in the development of Nigeria, but we need to find different ways of approaching Nigerians with information, young people especially.
Israel Bayes on the call. Good morning, are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
You're live.
Yeah. The topic of discussion, census. Census is very essential for planning of any country. But the fact remains that as a nation, the outcome of such an exercise, we have not really seen it impact on the people. With the wealth Nigeria has, you find that some Nigerians are still drinking water from the same pond with wild animals in this country. This humongous amount of money that is to be expended on population census now, if we put it to better the lives of Nigerians who are wallowing in poverty, drinking water from the same pond with wild animals, I think it will make more sense. Like you guys have said, I've asked the question you have asked. Why must we do this census now? The other day I was watching the chairman of the National Population Census. He was being interviewed. He said he cannot give a date as to when the census is going to take place. There is only Mr. President that can give a date. You can see how haphazard these plans are. I mean, we need to be very serious. When you do a population census, it goes a long way. It impacts on the integrity of a country. You want to know the number of people you are and how you can plan for them. So let's get serious about this. That's my contribution.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. So we can also phase this census. We don't have to do it in April, start to finish, right? And spend the billions of money, because I can guarantee you that after that census, we'll still have not counted everybody. There are some people that will still miss in the cracks. We will not see them to count. We can phase it to say, Nigeria has a plan to count or to know their population in 5 years, right? We round off all the hospitals in different local governments and say, as a child is born, we equip them to have a record of that child. So, no, hold on. That's part of census now.
And we do that.
Yes, we don't. Why are we not counting ourselves over and over again? Why do we want to count ourselves?
Because human beings move differently.
Listen now, calm down. So we have that. I'm suggesting.
No, I'm getting. I'm understanding you. We're just conversing.
Yes.
Advisor, go ahead.
We capture that. If you have to relocate, because we don't have proper data, that's where the problem is. You have to relocate from one place to another. As you get into the new place, you go register yourself. We capture that. So as the names are doubling, we have a system. Yes, we have a system that will be checking. If a name is double here now, it will check it out. The reason for the death certificate is to remove you from database. Not because
we have that.
Do we?
Sweetheart.
So let me
sweetheart.
So
Actually, I'm talking about, don't go too far now. Let's take it sentence by sentence. Those group of thousands that enter Lagos every day through one bus, bike, and everything that enter. Where did they go say I've entered? Where am I?
Police used to catch them.
How many? How many can the police catch?
No, hold on.
That enter Lagos. I say, okay, today I don't enter Lagos now.
So that tells me there's a loophole. So the security agent, there are plenty of loopholes. The security agencies in charge of the borders that see them and catch them and then release them. We say, listen now, it starts from somewhere.
She's suggesting now.
I said it's going to take give yourself 5 years or 10 years to get the proper data. So all those loopholes you are seeing, you are trying to handle this from here, you are trying to handle that from here, you are trying to handle it. Then you are working with the numbers already of the people who are officially captured, and you are trying to seep in the informal sector gradually. It will take time.
Okay,
no, listen, it can also be our own form of census.
Okay,
let's stay on that now, because it's a good idea. It's an idea.
We're discussing it. I'm not a
so that's right now. So let's imagine 50 buses going to 50 parks in Lagos, for example.
Yeah.
One stops in Ekpe, one stops in those different parks that they have. Now, how many people monitor the bring your suitcase and enter somebody's house? Your host, for example, does not tell you, does not register, oh, Mr. John just came from...
That's the responsibility of the citizen.
So the point I'm trying to make is that, so you're better off doing one-time census, capture all of wherever you are, before you start migrating to Kaduna.
And the reason why numbers would always be inflated is because inherently there's an advantage to having more people. If my household, if I say I have 10 people living in my house, it will mean that if government is counting resources to share towards this area, maybe they will get more to me. If they want to give more hospitals, they will get more to me. So because there's advantage in having more numbers, people would always find ways to inflate their numbers. So it is essential that we must be, the system that wants to count us must help us to ensure that we trust them enough to say no other part of this community will inflate their numbers and nobody will be at a higher advantage, because when they are doing local government sharing, remember, it's based on the location population. When they want to share, when they want to do any process, elections, palliative going to any location, it is based on the numbers. So everybody is calculating how they will be advantage.
So we're going back to where we started from. So that's why one body should handle the census. So that I'm not sharing it. So your issue is trust. Okay, let me come to you.
And as we said, we trust. We'll make sure that all of us can be observers. We had the caller who mentioned, who explained brilliantly that we have international observers and we pay them. So that's maybe why we have all the amount of the amount of money that we're supposed to pay per person. But also is, I think that we can't do this census over a 5-year period because it does not capture at that time what were, for me, it does not capture, yes, it should actually be done every 10 years. So if you take it across 5 years, so many things happen. People don't just find themselves in a place only when they are born. People travel, people marry, people, different ways. So back and forth. So we do have all the different systems that take our birth certificates, death certificates, marriage certificates, all these things.
They don't unite them.
Good. That's it. It's the fusion we're talking about of the different systems. And that's why I'm saying it's been 17 years since the last census. And I believe, and actually do trust, that the caliber of people who will be doing the census now or sitting down to coordinate the census are putting everything in place. We didn't have NIN or BVN in 2006. We didn't even have the technology that we have today in 2006. And these people are not daft. I beg, I know you're not, that, they want to go the crude and 2006 way to keep counting us. They'll put all these things into consideration. We have the NIN and immigration now doing something where they are collecting 1,000 naira from us. They're doing something in collaboration. They already understand collaboration. So hopefully we'll see NIN, BVN, for those Nigerians who have it. Remember, not all Nigerians still have their NIN. Not all Nigerians are captured under the BVN. So census is going to capture all those sets of people. And will show us the reason why those sort of people are not captured in an NIN or BVN. So there's just so many reasons and helpful reasons.
Well articulated. Thank you very much. You kind of wrapped everybody's conversation together. But thank you very much, ladies. That's all we can take on the show. But I think the reasons why we have some of this conversation is just to have a segment where we just express our views. Now, the next phase really is to bring in somebody in charge from the census to come and now explain to us the real situation of things, how they plan to execute this budget, what job the stuff they've done already to put things in place for the April census, and how they expect to mop up this money they're expecting from Nigerians. So we're not getting an expert to explain to us very simple. Right now, we've only lamented and expressed the views. We've even advised as a people's advisor. I was advised on suggestions. We've also talked. The trust issue from Tokwe has said, I don't trust you people. Mariam is optimistic. Say, listen, yes, we are trusting that you've done a bit of work because we've seen your beavers, we've seen the work you've done. So we're hoping it will be better. Let us see now bring in the experts to come and give us better understanding, hopefully sometime either this week or next week. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.